Hi guys, this time I'm building a MiG-21 in 1/48 scale from Eduard. It's a Profi Pack edition and has 5 painting options, photo etched parts and masks included. Everything in this kit looks very good, and the plan for the model is to build it out of the box in Polish markings, but this time with a bit of extra background. So, the model will get the Resin Ladder and will be placed in the Hangar. This is my first jet build on the channel, so not sure what I put myself into, but I will do my best, and you please bear with me to the end to see how I managed. The cockpit floor is also a part of the front wheel well, and here is where I start. Once I prepared parts, I use Mr. Hoppy's zinc chromate to paint them. The elements have nice details, and I use metallic pen to paint wires. Black marker is also handy, and at the end I think the level of details is more than enough for the parts that are barely visible. The cockpit color from the instruction does not match the PE parts color, so I've made my own by mixing 50% of 391 and 50% of 366. I think I've come close enough. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's the best I can do right now. For the cockpit not to look too clean, I added some usage marks with steel color and dry brush, and now I'm applying a brown wash to highlight details. The nose has to be added to close fuselage, so I paint the green color over the black base and add ballast because it's important to make sure the model will not sit on the tail once completed. I put everything in and dry fit the fuselage to check for any issues, but it all fit nice. So I add supports in the middle section and glue it together. The main landing gear base I have prepared together with the front one, and right now adding them on the bottom wing section. After adding to the fuselage, there is a small gap at the back, but it's nothing major, it will be filled with putty. I use mask provided in the kit to mask windshield and the main part of the canopy and paint it in the interior color. Before I go with the primer, I glue the windshield in place and use a spare canopy part to mask the cockpit. Some putty is required here and there, but nothing major. Once I sand it down and have everything masked, I spray the black primer onto the whole model. I use matte black as a base for metallic paint because I do not want the very shiny finish at the end. And metallic paint brings up every imperfection, so before I start, I check the model and joints in case there is any spot that must be corrected. As a base, I use white aluminum, and later I'll be adding different shades on it. And the fun with masking begins. Probably I could have avoided part of this masking by painting these elements before I glue them on the wings, but it is what it is. I do not want the contrast to be too dramatic, so I added just 30% of dark aluminum to the base color. Leading edges and few other elements I paint with the mix of white and regular aluminum colors. And finally, I add some shading with 50-50 mix of white and dark aluminum. The exhaust is something I was looking forward to paint in this model. I painted with various metallic colors and have to admit these AK Extreme metal paints do the work. They blend very nicely and give nice result. I was trying to replicate the real exhaust you can see on the screen. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. After all metallic paint is done, I covered the whole model with the gloss varnish and start with the stencils and decals. There is an insane number of stencils, which have puzzled me a little. First of all, some of them are in 3 different colors, so there is black, blue and white. Secondly, there is so many of them that the model looks like a big instruction manual. I decided to use the black version, but I'm not so sure about it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Fortunately, number of decals is a lot less, just mind the polish checkerboard if you build the same version like I do. I use light brown wash for lighter contrast and black around the exhaust where I want stronger contrast in the panel lines. After a few minutes, I remove the excess with the cotton bud or brush with white spirit for the places where I want to have more control over the effect. The canopy will be opened, and to make this section more interesting, I try to imitate the rubber seal around it. To do that, I use spare decals, cut them to smaller pieces to be able to fit the shape better, and try to put it in place with help of microsol. I think the result is worth the effort. The pilot seat looks quite good out of the box, except for this hole in the headrest. I fill it with primer and paint the whole seat with grey color. Fabric covered elements I paint with brush and adding highlights with white color later. I want this seat look like similar to the one you see on the video, so I paint this part red and use a spare white stencil to imitate the markings on it. All photo etched elements are added with the ultra glue and the seat is ready. Here is an additional feature that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, so the ladder and chocks. This is resin from LP model and looks very nice, so let me show you real quick how I made it to look used. Okay, back to the model. I use oil paints to add some usage look to it. Black and brown colors in the places where dirt accumulate a bit more. It's almost done, just few small elements to be added at the end. The final gallery is coming next, and as usual, let me know in the comments what you think of this build. Subscribe and give a like if you enjoyed this video. Links to the Hangar diorama set and LP model Resin Ladder can be found in the description of this video. And as always guys, thank you for watching and see you next time.